Hey there, YouTube friends. It's Elizabeth J with an S, and I wanted to talk about week 2 of the new normal. Now, I am videotaping this a little late, but I did want to just do a little reflection on week 2 of virtual learning, WFH, working from home, and just how things have been going here in Kenya. So, first of all, week 2, as far as school and work has gone, was much better for me. What I did was I took my workspace out of my bedroom and put it in the living room. And I found that was much better because if I needed a break, I could just go to my bedroom and lay on my bed and not have to see the computer and have the workspace right there. So that really was beneficial to me, and I will show you my workspace, just how it's set up. The other issue that I was having was that my back was bothering me from sitting for so long. So I actually got a higher table and just have my setup while I'm standing. So I actually stand most of the day. And then if I need to, or I'm in the living room, so I can sit on a nice comfy chair and whatever, on the downtime. So that was school, and my setup and that sort of thing. And the week went fairly well. I am a little bit backed up on marking, but we are closing for Easter break, so we'll have some time to catch up and do that. So if I don't finish all the marking, but I really did scale down on my marked assignments. So typically I would do one assignment depending on the topic, one actual graded assignment per week. So that really reduced the number of graded work that I was doing between weeks 1 and 2. So that also was really helpful. So now, as far as how things are going in Kenya, the number of cases of our little friend have increased. I think we're now at 42 positive cases. There's been one death of an elderly man who also had diabetes as well. So he was a high-risk case. Most of the cases are actually in Nairobi, which does kind of make sense. I mean, the airport is here, people are flying in. But within the past week, it's not just been people who were flying in. It's now in the transmission phase. So people who did not self-quarantine went in amongst their family and friends and spread the virus. So I feel like one of the biggest issues is ignorance and misinformation and miseducation and just the unwillingness to actually do what needs to be done to stop the transmission of the disease. I mean, they've been talking a lot about self-quarantine and social distancing and kind of staying at home and only doing the bare minimum out in public. And for the most part, people have just been ignoring that. You go to the supermarket and they're not controlling how many people are inside. They're not controlling this distance thing. Okay, so the one that I went to, they actually gave us gloves when we went in. That was great. I actually had a mask that I made on, and I just did my shopping and was very aware of people around me. But I had to ask the lady who was behind me in line to move back because she literally was on top of me. And I was like, excuse me, let's have a little bit of distance. So yeah, so there's just no concept. You walk out on the road and people don't move out of the way. It's just, I think people are feeling it's business as usual, and probably within the 2-week time period that the virus is going to bake in their bodies is when we'll see a dramatic increase in the number of cases. So there's that to look forward to. The other good news is that we have not yet been put on like official quarantine. I don't know if that's a thing. So moving is happening this Wednesday. I'm really excited because there's a garden and it'll be really nice, and you can do the whole stay at home and actually have space. So I'm really excited about that. Especially since in the next 2 weeks, things probably are going to get a whole lot worse. So at least I'll be in a nice space where I can, do some gardening and just have more than a bedroom, a kitchen, and a sitting room. So all of that stuff's been fine. We do have a curfew, a 7 p.m. curfew, 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. And the first night, people really got stuck. They did not leave work early. They were stuck on transport because obviously transportation has been limited, and they're limiting the number of people in the buses and stuff like that. And so people got stuck, and the government security unit, I don't know, it's called GSU. I don't know what the GSU stands for, but it's like the government police. I mean, they were out, you can look at the news, they were like throwing tear gas, to disperse the crowds, which of course panicked people, and they're like rushing, and it was just not conducive to social distancing in any way, shape, or form. But after the first night, I think people got the message and they said, okay, we got to leave work early. But there's a lot of work that does also happen after 7 p.m. So those individuals are like protesting, and they want to be able to do their work to earn their money. So there's a lot of things that are happening. And so it's just, I think the main agenda of the government is to stop the transmission, this transmission to where the numbers are going to increase so dramatically in the next 2 weeks that they want to, and people just can't understand that this is really a very serious thing. They're just doing their business. They feel fine, and then in 2 weeks, it's going to be like everybody all at one time is just stricken. So it's not really gotten so much into the rural areas, which is good because there's quite a lot of elderly people who live in the rural areas. There are young people there too, but quite a number of elderly people. So it's good that it's not really spread. It's just mostly contained in the cities. And I'm excited because we have 3 days left of school. And I've planned everything out. I have some fun Easter break work for the students to do. I'm using different website platforms that I've never used before, obviously, because we're doing everything virtually now. So I've learned a whole bunch of things. I'm part of a bunch of Facebook groups where teachers are sharing all of this stuff. So I'm picking and choosing. Obviously you can't use everything because that would just be crazy. And the students also have to learn how to use the websites. So I've picked a few things, and I have giving them some bigger projects for them to do. So that's how things are going. I feel like week 2 was quite a bit better personally, as far as school and sort of mental mindset and that kind of thing. Now we're in week 3, and I'm kind of feeling, I'm really bored with the whole working at home thing. I really don't like working at home. Well, I think it's a combination of having to work at home and also being stuck at home. So if I didn't have to go to a 9 to 5 or 8 to 3 or whatever it is for a school teacher, and I was working from home, it would be that I was organizing my own time, and I was going and doing and having meetings and different things, which would be different than working from home, stuck at home. So I think the combination of those two things has really made this experience not the greatest for working at home. I mean, at least it's myself and another adult. I don't have children that I'm looking after as well. I know it's a lot harder for people who both the parents are working at home and they have children that they have to assist with schoolwork at home. So I know that it could be a lot harder, and it's not for me, which I'm really grateful for. So that is the update for week 2. Certainly better personally, perhaps not so much better on the medical side of things and the countrywide side of things. But I think if you personally are in a good space, then you can handle these other things in a positive way. Not to say that any of this is really positive, but you just have a positive perspective on life, I think is what I'm trying to say. So yeah. So yeah. Anyway, I'll touch base with you again next week after week 3 is finished. I'll have finished school. I'll have had parent consultation via Zoom. So that should be interesting. Yeah, and then I have 2 weeks off, so that'll be nice to just not have to be on the computer and not have to be Zooming and not have to be, I can get back to doing other things that I'm interested in doing. I do have to say, though, that I am reading a lot of books now, which I haven't had time to do in the past, so that's really great because I really do enjoy reading books. So that's a positive thing. I think having your hobbies and doing things that interest you during something like this is really important. Anyway, it's been a nice chit-chatting, catching up. I'll see you around again next week.